Well, hello, my Communist Party people, dobre utra. And guess where we are? We are in perhaps the most Soviet part of the former Soviet Union, at least in terms of symbolism. Maybe you can see this flying Lenin behind me. Vladimir Lenin, do you even comprehend how my man can ascend? Oh man, I'm a little bit giddy about being here. So we are in Tiraspol, the capital of the Pridnestrovian Moldavian Republic, otherwise known as Transnistria. And yeah, they still use Soviet symbols here. Pretty much the hammer and sickle is everywhere. It greeted me as I was crossing the border, the de facto border between Moldova and this unrecognized country. But anyway, we have about 48 hours here. Seems a bit colder than Chisinau, to be fair, but we're gonna make the most of our time. Let's go check out these mean Soviet streets. You know, I well and truly actually wanted to start this video in this exact location, but it turns out that a quite famous British YouTuber, let's say he's financially derelict and devoid of hair, he actually started a video here. You might know it, but nonetheless I can see why he did it. It's a big open space and nobody's around. It gives you plenty of chance to basically talk and walk and feel as if you're not being watched by the Pridnestrovians. But yeah, pretty cool spot, I have to say. So in 1990, the Moldovan authorities start to basically move away from the Soviet Union. It's all a process of disintegration at that point, slowly but surely. And you have the Transnistrian or the Pridnestrovian rebels who end up basically taking up arms to remain initially part of the USSR and then basically to eke out their own status. And that's why you have the de facto independence of Pridnestrovia today. Unrecognized post-Soviet breakaway states stick together. I'm not sure if you can see these flags. We're inching ever closer though. And basically you have the flag of Abkhazia, internationally recognized as part of Georgia. The flag, of course, in the middle is this one, the Pridnestrovian Moldavian Republic. And then the flag of South Ossetia, also recognized as part of Georgia internationally. Man, what an absolutely surreal experience to be here in Tiraspol, especially because a few hours ago, I think about 3 hours ago, I was literally in Chisinau, in technically a completely different country. And by the way, check him out. I'm not going to say his name again, but let me just say this. Vladimir is never getting the hell up out of here. So you know, Pridnestrovia actually has two co-official flags. The first one, which I think really stands out and which you probably have already seen and know about, is the flag of the old Moldavian Soviet Socialist Republic. It's actually not been changed at all, so I guess you can also say that this is the last part of Soviet Moldova. The other flag that's used quite frequently is the flag of the Russian Federation. Really interesting because, of course, this is a largely ethnically Russian part of Moldova, and actually that's one of the fundamental reasons why it has de facto independent status, why that war was fought in the early 1990s. Nonetheless, Russia does not actually recognize the independence of Pridnestrovia. I think what's fascinating is that there's Russian troops that are stationed here, and actually in the last week or so, right on the cusp of me coming on this trip, there were some reports that, oh, Russia might actually annex Transnistria. So this is something that I think is going to be, well, let's put it this way, an ongoing topic of conversation. Basically, this part of the world is going to continue to be very, very important geopolitically for a long time to come. Well, you know, there's no lack of Soviet heroes who you can choose to have statues built for and in memory of, but few have probably heard of this guy right here. He was actually Lenin's right-hand man. Do you recognize him? His name was Harry Potter, and he was a bad motherfucker. Now, it actually is a Harry Potter monument, though, and why it's here in Tiraspol is truly beyond me. Maybe it's trying to draw in tourists from the West? Are you now enticed?
Marcel, first of all, welcome to Pridnestrovia. Pridnestrovia is the own designation of Transnistria. Transnistria is rather a Western name for our country, and you can have actually both options to call our republic Pridnestrovia or PMR. PMR is Pridnestrovian Moldavian Republic, a shorthand for Pridnestrovian Moldavian Republic, so you can call our country in both ways, PMR or Pridnestrovia. I would like to emphasize Pridnestrovie is not a communist country, but all the symbols, all the signs, all this memorabilia, you can still see as an open air museum if it's outside, and this kind of mosaics or paintings in the style of mosaic inside of some houses of cultures. But it doesn't mean that Pridnestrovie is communist. Pridnestrovie has chosen the market economy. Pridnestrovie has chosen the capitalistic style of life, I would say. And we have a lot of different small companies, medium companies, bigger companies. So we can say that communism actually has never existed. But socialistic realism was there. So behind these doors, every Thursday, the meetings of Joint Control Commission take place. So Joint Control Commission consists of the representatives from different ministries of Moldova, Pridnestrovie, but also representatives of Russian Embassy, Ukrainian Embassy, OSCE. The task of the Joint Control Commission is to maintain stability, security, and peace in the security zone, or we call it also in German Sicherheitsraum, so security space, we can say it like this. So there was a conflict, the armed conflict between Moldova and Pridnestrovie in 1992. It started in March in 92 and ended in July 92. This peacekeeping mission, which was established, the peacekeeping mission which was established after the conflict, consists of three contingents: the contingent of Moldova, Pridnestrovie, and Russia. So Russia has a leading role in this peacekeeping mission. You can see, Marcel, the symbol of a peacekeeper, the guy with a helmet, and on the helmet is written MS, Миротворческие силы, peacekeeping forces. So this soldier is a symbol for the whole the peacekeeping mission, not only for Russians but also for Pridnestrovians and Moldovans. You can see that this guy brings the peace. The dove in the chest of this guy is a symbol for the peace. Playing children, we see here. This monument is from 2017. In Russian славным борцам за власть Советов. In Moldovan or Romanian language, Moldovan, Romanian, this is pretty the same. Slăviților luptători pentru puterea sovietilor, to the glorious fighters for Soviet power. The monument is from 1969 and is dedicated to those people who organized an uprising against Romanian authorities on the 27th of May 1919. For these people who organized it, it was pretty unsuccessful. Many of them were executed by Romanian authorities later, after the uprising. But for Soviet history, of course, these people were heroes. In memory of shot, tortured citizens of Bender town of Jewish nationality, which did not reach the victory day in the Great Patriotic War 1941-1945, bow your head. It means they did not survive. Did not reach, it means they did not survive, unfortunately. And here is written, not all victims of Nazis were Jewish, but all Jewish were victims of Nazis. Dedicated to the Holocaust victims. The monument is from 2002. We have here the armored vehicle from 93. See PMR written in Russian language, Pridnestrovская Молдавская Republika. Near the armored vehicle we see the eternal flame, and the words said by Russian General Alexander Suvorov, the founder of the city Tiraspol: "The true glory cannot be found. It comes from the self-sacrifice for the common good." To the left, we see the chapel, the open-air chapel, the Orthodox open-air chapel from '95. A little bit to the left, you can see these granite slabs with the names of victims from the city Bender, soldiers, officers, civilians who died in the city Bender during the armed conflict between Moldova and Pridnestrovie.
So my name is Rodion. I'm 32 years old. I'm online English teacher. I give some lessons online for English, for German, for people who would like to study this language from Russia, from post-Soviet countries, sometimes even for foreigners. I can teach some Russian also. So, and actually now I'm trying to do some tours for the tourists to tell about the city, about the country, about the history. And I hope my mission is to break the stereotypes about this country. Но это не обязательно правда. Все, что можно было, все себе забрал.
At the memorial of glory and sorrow of the city Tiraspol, this memorial was opened in February 1972. It's dedicated to 3 wars. This is the Great Patriotic War. This is the way we call the Second World War. I mean the Great Patriotic War, 1941-1945. Afghanistan War, 1979-89. And Moldovan Pridnestrovian conflict, 1992. Although the tank here, the model T-34, was put even earlier, 1968, and this chapel, St. George Chapel, was erected here in 2011. This is an Orthodox chapel, and you see that the form of this chapel has a candle form. The candle is a religious symbol for all the victims. Yeah, I just wanted to show this very, very old Lenin. Unfortunately, we do not know about the construction year. We do not know about the author. But this Lenin statue was saved by the director of this United Museum. So now we have this little secret Lenin, so as a tourist you cannot see it from the street.
Wow.
Dom Sovetov, City Council, the building is from 1953. The mayor of Tiraspol is here, but also the Tiraspolian City Council, I mean the members of Tiraspolian Parliament are here. You can see this beautiful decoration everywhere. During our tour, you saw today the grapes. So the grapes is the symbol for the Soviet Moldavia, and this building is not an exception. So here you can see the plaque written in Russian language. And this building was declared Pridnestrovian Moldavian Republic on the 2nd of September 1990, on the second extraordinary meeting of the deputies of all power levels.
Man, what an absolutely amazing experience. The Soviet tour through not only Tiraspol, by the way, I've been saying it wrong. It's actually not Tiraspol. Andre taught me actually I'm supposed to be putting the emphasis on the A. So rather than Tiraspol, Tiraspol. So already self-critical, and I'm not going to reshoot the stuff that I basically did earlier where I was, mispronouncing it, but nonetheless, basically there you go. Anyway, shout out to Andre for not only that incredible tour, but also for organizing this quintessentially Soviet accommodation. Now, we basically did not succeed in Chisinau, but here we've actually taken it up a notch. Not only are we staying in a Soviet spot, it's not a hotel, it's actually an apartment. So what can be better than this? Anyway, let me flip this around and show you what we're working with over here. First of all, this is the living room. And I don't know if you can get a sense of how huge it really is. And also, very vintage, retro 1980 style. Of course, it's been nicely refurbished and all of that kind of stuff, but I think it gives you, that perspective, that kind of, warmth, the charm that it has. Over here you have, your showcase. Not really much there because, well, of course, it's just for people like me, tourists, to come and, maybe spend a night or two here, or maybe if you're in Pridnestrovia for longer, you want to rent it out for a, lengthier amount of time. And yeah, this is where you come in, and basically, what do we have on this side? I want to make sure I'm not missing out anything important. Now, this is your Wi-Fi, which is definitely important, but not very Soviet. Anyway, in the bathroom on this side, yeah, got everything that you need for your stay here in Tiraspol. Let me make sure I say that correctly from here on out. And then, okay, back through the living room. I probably should have started at the front door, right? But you got your kitchen, very, very nice kitchen. Not very spacious, but to be honest, mine in Berlin is almost the same size. And this is called the city center apartment, and, for a good reason. There's the city center. We're like a block away, or 2 blocks away, I should say, maybe from Lenin's statue. So, and the thing is, Tiraspol is a very walkable, very nice city, very quaint. I'm not sure if I gave you that sense when I was hitting the streets earlier. And here's the bedroom, So yeah, if you come here, PMR tours for everything. They speak a lot of languages. Very, very impressed with them in terms of, kind of the balance that also the day had to it. Very just enjoyable in every single respect. But this is definitely the best value for money right here. So shout out to PMR Tours again.
Зачем она тебе?
Well, check this out. A Soviet-themed restaurant. So what's your favorite thing about Pridnestrovia or Tiraspol?
I think the main difference comparing to other countries is that this country is multinational, multi-confessional. There is no place there for any discrimination. We have 3 national languages, so all documents starting on 3 national languages.
This place have many people, other nationalities, and Gagavus, maybe in English people, Russian, Ukraine. It's all friends. He's don't fight, and he's friendly.
What do you guys think about like Soviet times, or maybe your parents? How do they remember this time?
Of course, we have just we heard the remembrance of people who were there, but there is no doubt that a lot of stuff was free, especially because of the form of government. Free medicine, free studying. I think
in time USA were great progress. People going to space.
At that time, there were 2 like the greatest countries, USA and USSR, and their competition was an engine of growth of all the world.
Well, everybody, it's been real, about as real as Pridnestrovia actually is. And what an incredible time here in this unrecognized entity, and I would say mostly in Tiraspol. And hey, look, I said it right. Tiraspol, not Tiraspol. Hey, be proud of me, Andre. But anyway, that's why we're here. We're here to learn. We're here to hopefully set aside our misconceptions or preconceptions. And basically, I think that's what the world really needs. Especially at this very critical juncture, in which I said this part of the world is quite volatile. Of course, Ukraine is right over there, about 50 miles to Odessa right now, and hopefully that doesn't flare up in this particular region. What I've realized is whether here in Pridnestrovia or in the Republic of Moldova, people are absolutely wonderful. And that's actually the main sort of thrust of what I've experienced everywhere that I've been on the face of this planet, to be honest. So anyway, with that being said, it's time to conclude, but actually we're not quite done in Moldova yet. We've been here for 5 days. We do have to get back to Chisinau. I'll see you in Chisinau just for a brief second before we continue our adventure throughout Europe.